Hello, mic test, mic test, mic test. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the 168th edition of the Trading Opportunities webinar. This is Niro. Let me run down a very quick introduction before we actually get started with the content matter here. I'm just testing mic one more time. If you guys are live in the audience, you can just let me know in the comment section as well how's the audio and the screen share. Everything looks good, and since we are already late, I will not be waiting for confirmations, at least for now. First of all, before we begin, my name is Nirav. I'm the admin owner of 50 Eyes market analysis website as well as the YouTube channel. And today we are live with the 168th edition. In the past 166 webinars, we have captured a total of 416 trades. All were discussed live in front of you guys. Also, we conduct these webinars generally live at 4:30 p.m. GMT. But today we are a bit late. So if you want to catch us live, we will generally be around 4:30 p.m. GMT. Right. Other things I just wanted to get across. So you can check out the free course on Elliott Wave as well as a paid course by visiting this link, and check the past accuracy, which is surpassing industry standards, etc., by visiting this link. Lastly, if you are intermediate to advanced trader, you can go through the book or the video course based on the book. And of course, training program LT is available for those who have completed the video course. So here's the sequence of things. We'll first discuss the chart of euro, followed by crude, gold, S&P. Eventually, we'll discuss Bitcoin, and every time I complete a discussion of a chart, I will then ask you guys about queries. If you have any, you can just push them in the live chat. So let's now get started. We just very quickly want to get started and discuss the stuff. But before that, we want to check what was being said in the last session. So first of all, I'm just opening up the 167th webinars recording. It was conducted on 4th of this month. And we simply want to check what was being discussed on the chart of euro. So right now we are on the, thank you guys. Looks like everything is working fine. Thank you for letting me know in the comment section. So as I was saying, at once we are looking at the last discussion on euro and trying to determine what was being said in the last session. Looks like we were looking for a long play, and we had booked some profits in the last webinar as well. Let me minimize this and see what was being said afterwards. All right, so it's a simple trade setup. Consideration of longs above 1.8056, and after that we can expect targets of 1.1870 to 7 and higher levels. 1.18056, let's note it down as a trigger. And now we would like to check how things have progressed after our discussion. And here is on screen the live chart of euro. So first of all, let's check what happened after 4th July. 1.18056 never breached, I think. 5, 6. So it will be somewhere here roughly. The level has never been touched or breached. So the longs were never triggered, and this trade never really, what do you call, came into play, came into being, whatever. So that means things are going okay here. Our long play hasn't worked yet. So let's see what's the new updated view on this counter. Let me just quickly refresh the page so that the counts are latest and updated. Sometimes we do have this problem that trading view does not seem to show our latest analysis. That's why. Or we can just simply go with that and remove the red. Anyways, good evening, Ativat, our private Slack group member. Marco, again, our private Slack group member. Hello. Luis, our regular viewers. Manuel, regular viewer. And Muhammad, again, our regular viewer. So, hello, everyone, and thank you for the comments and everything. So, as I was saying, we are so far looking at a nested impulsive formation, most likely, and I am assuming that this market can still go higher. So, the setup remains the same, but in this case, we can look for long consideration above 1.17641. So above this level, we can look and consider that this market is heading up. As for the current progression, it does look like the wave dot dot 2 may be in play. As for the count, we are looking at an impulse in play. So if this is dot 1 and this is dot 2, we are currently in this leg of dot 3. And given the fractal nature of Elliott wave, this dot 3, if you magnify it, you will find something like this. We are labeling this dot 3 as dot dot 1, or consisting of 5 waves called dot dot 1, dot dot 2, dot dot 3, etc., and so on and so forth. Dot dot 5. Same goes here. This is your dot 1, this is your dot 2, and this is your dot dot 1 and dot dot 2, so on and so forth. So we are currently within this leg, or we are currently continuing this leg. Either we are over here or over here. Both possibilities exist here. So, anyways, you get the idea. That's more than enough, and you get this setup long consideration above this level. Again, keep in mind this is a level to consider long, so it is not a trigger entry. So we'll have to reanalyze the charts once this level is breached. Nothing to add here. Good evening, Raghu, and everyone else. Just let me know if you have any doubts or questions. If not, just type in understood or clear, and we'll then move over to the next chart. Wait and watch on Euro with the idea of longs in the back of our minds. I'm not seeing any doubts or questions so far. So what I'll do is head over to the recording from our last webinar and head to the chart or the part of crude oil and see what was being discussed in our last live session. So Ativat is saying clear. Thank you, Ativat, for the confirmation. So here's the chart or the recording part of our last webinar. One second. Yes. So let's see some long-term discussion I'm doing here. 76.80 plus. From what I recall, this was leave it for now kind of market. And we also recall that there was a possibility of WX, and then why that is to say X will suggest more upside and then down, or X is probably already complete and then down. So it was H1 and H2 both were suggesting that a downside movement can come into play. Although, as I said, I don't think I had a very clear setup because this was, after all, a daily chart. And yes, let's now head over and look at the live chart. WTI crude oil. Thank you, Raghu, for the confirmation. Hello, K. Himura. So, as I was saying, we had the possibility that this market can just go up and then down or go straight down. And here I have not considered both possibilities, the only the main view that I think might be progressing. This is purely simple analysis. I don't even have to discuss the long term view. By the way, keep in mind, guys, we have discussed the long term view on crude oil in our last webinar in a little bit details. So that's why I'm not trying to cover it today. You can just the last webinar by visiting the 50 Eyes Market Analysis YouTube channel and selecting live. What's that? 1 second. You can just use as a point of reference. From this point of reference, we are then expecting the market is heading up, correction for wave B and up for C. So that's basically a flat correction in play. Most likely a running flat is what we are considering. So from this point of reference, we are assuming that this market has given us an A here, a B here, and will give us a C here. In the case of C, we do have a special expectation. We are assuming that this market is heading up in the wave C as a diagonal formation. And what is special about the diagonal formation is that we will have an overlap of waves 4 and 1. If you look at the chart, I am assuming that this is the B complete here. And then, as I said, we are expecting an overlap of 4 and 1, henceforth giving us a possible diagonal formation. That would suggest something like this. This is your 1, this is your 2, this is your 3, 4, and 5. Same goes here. Expected 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's how it is. West Texas Intermediate. Keep in mind, this is just an expected hypothesis. Neither has it played out so far, nor we can say that this is the only ideal view. This is just one of the multiple possibilities. The secondary possibility would simply be that this market just heads lower without going up. So, for instance, in this case, we expect something like this, and in the counter view, we'll expect straight down move. So again, we have one view which is suggesting H1, let's just call it up and then down, and H2 is suggesting straight down. Overall, we wait for some bearish movement and bearish confirmation on this counter. And as I said, it is simply a wait and watch market. You should look at the long term view on the 167th webinar recording. Nothing to add here. Just let me know if you guys understood the discussion so far before we move to the chart of gold and take things from there. You can just type in clear understood or something if everything is clear. So here I am near the recording of part of gold from our last discussion, which was done on 4th of July 2025. So let's see what was being said on gold. So on the chart of gold, we were expecting that fifth is possibly having one leg up. I think I also discussed the possibility that the fifth is possibly complete as a failed progression. Let's see if I have discussed it or not. There is the possibility that the fifth is possibly completed as a failed structure and which could lead to bearish movement straight from here. So we have discussed two possibilities on the chart of gold. One is the fifth already complete and we are representing it as H3 here, and then there's a downward movement in play. Secondary possibility was that the fifth is still continuing, and you can check the whole discussion in detail later on. Our point which we wanted to check has already been checked, so let's now discuss the live chart. 4th July was somewhere over here. Somewhere over here we were discussing the chart. Since then, I am more inclined towards considering the possibility that this structure from this point of reference around the price level of roughly 2832, we are assuming that this market is heading up. And as I just mentioned in the last discussion, we had considered the possibility that this fifth is already complete. So I am assuming that to be the main view for now. Again, we don't have a proper confirmation, so it's just an assumption at this point. And playing along with that assumption, we don't have to do much. We will have to look for short trades or possible short trades below 3287 or lower. So below this level, we will look for possible sell opportunities on this counter of gold. Before that, it is possible that this market goes out near the trend line, tests the trend line, gives us a classical technical analysis style sell setup, and then goes down. So that's the assumed way. Let's call this as H1 at once. Market goes up a little and then goes low. Here's the possibility. Trade setup. Definitely we have something concrete here. We want the market to test the trend line if possible and then only look for reversal signs. Alternate setups, as I just mentioned, would be 3287 or lower levels, and then we look for selling opportunities on the counter of. One second, I had not removed the discussion from last webinar tag here. So this is the current discussion. We are as such mentioning that 3287 or lower levels or test of the trend line are the two main setups. I'll take some questions if you guys have any on this discussion. Raghu has mentioned clear from the last discussion, I believe. It's coming from Raghu saying gold did break out after touching green channel multiple times. Let's see that. Yeah, so we did have a short term play here. That's what Raghu is mentioning here. Let's just remove everything and just show it to the viewers. This is the play Raghu is mentioning. This channel was broken and the market went above it, came down, tested it, almost tested it, and then took a flight in the upward direction. So we were obviously tracking and putting analysis, etc., in live Slack group. Again, if you guys are interested in something like that, you can just send your inquiries to through our website. I mean, and links are available in the video description. Anyways, that was the main setup, and scalp long consideration could be taken from here. Swing wise, as I just mentioned, we are looking more towards the sell side instead of longs. Hopefully that was all and it's clear now. K Hamura is saying all clear, and Mohammed Daniel Yunus is saying clear. Hopefully Raghu is also clear. If not, you can just ask the question in more detail, Raghu. That's about it for our discussion on gold. I am not seeing any more questions. So we will now head over to the recording of our S&P's last webinar, and then we will discuss the live chart. So on screen, we do have the last webinar recording conducted on 4th of July 2025. Let me just push it further. Thank you for the confirmation, Nativat and Raghu as well. So anyways, on the chart of S&P, what I was mentioning is looks like we have two plays which we have discussed. One play is small bearish and then up, and second play is completely bearish. So basically, we get the view that either the market is continuing up as a nested formation, or if not, and the whole impulse is complete, then the correction can be severe. So here is live chart. Let's check out where is 4th of July. Somewhere over here is the 4th of July. And since the 4th of July, we can see the market is propagating sideways. So we are of the view that this market is heading up as a nested impulse. Let me just clarify that by taking the point of reference first. So this is our POR or point of reference. And from here on, the market is heading up. This is 1, this is 2. And after that, the market will head up for 3. So that's it. Wave 1 up, 2 sideways, and 3 up. So we are just in the impulsive formation. We are looking for further upside on this counter. I have as such taken longs on this counter as well. We are looking to build more or add more to the long position above 6288. If you are not really in this market, then it will be wiser to add above 6288 for conservative traders, obviously, because as you know, wave 2 can propagate and give deeper retracements as well, although it does not look very likely in this case. So S&P, we are already long, as I just mentioned, and the setup I have already discussed. If you are not long 6288 plus, counts are quite clear. If this really is the third, then we can see extremely strong momentum moves on S&P as well as other major indices. Nothing to add. It's a very straightforward, what do you call, count. Just let me know if you guys have any doubts or questions on this counter before we head over to our last chart of Bitcoin. And also, guys, the number of views, I'm not sure why, but YouTube algorithm has kind of stopped promoting our content. It does look that way because we are not even touching 200 views on our last webinar, which is very rare kind of situation here. So if you are enjoying the content, make sure the content remains reachable to more people. Just share it as much as you can. Leave comments below the webinar once the webinar is complete, and of course spread some awareness so that we can continue doing this publicly by obviously telling people about the content quality and results, etc., etc. It's now your job, and as such, I've been doing these webinars for a very long time now. Many years have passed, and my idea was that the audience itself should do the work and promote the content. But here I am requesting to you guys, as that does not seem to have transpired so far. Joe is saying all clear, sir. Thank you, Joe, for the confirmation. Thank you, Raghu, for the confirmation. In that case, S&P is clear enough. We will now head over to our chart of BTC, which has given us exceptionally strong moves. So before discussing the chart, let's check the live discussion from last webinar or the recording from last webinar in which the market was discussed as having one leg up remaining because we were in the wave 4 formation where wave 4 looked complete and would now lead to a leg up move. Let's see if anything else was also mentioned. Once again, nothing really. It does not look like we have much to add here. The long trigger was above 110,000. That was the play or the expected play from our last webinar. This is a plus one. Yes. So now, as I was saying, this is a plus one trade. Long setup has played out precisely as per expectation. And this was the last webinar. Here now we head over to our last known price is around 117563. So this market is doing what we expected to do, heading up precisely as expected. And as such, we can assume that this market will give us more upside. So here's the expected progression on BTC. We are assuming minimum two legs up remaining before any further corrective structure is seen because we are looking for this double bracketed wave 5 to complete. So more upside still possible. Let me see if I have marked out any targets. Not really. So BTC is kind of clear here. We are expecting two more legs in the upward direction on this counter. Reason is simple. We are in the wave 3 formation, which has still possibly got some upside remaining. And even if that is not the case, we have double bracketed 5 remaining, which will take up most likely one more leg up. Sorry, again, we forgot to remove the discussion from last webinar tag. Of course, we are discussing the live content here. Hey, Dawood Yunus, you are late today, one of our regular viewers on YouTube. Again, anyways, guys, I don't think there is much to add on this counter. We do have possibility of two up legs remaining. How to deal with it? As such, we already wanted to go long above 110,000, and we already have crossed that part, so there isn't much to add here in terms of that setup. It has already played out. If you weren't a part of it, just watch the live webinars live, and then you can make better decisions. Nothing to add on BTC. We can look for some targets. I'm not very keen on it, but here is one important target which should be discussed. Immediately, we are expecting the market to head near till 126,368. So let's just call it 126,000. Let's call it 300. That's the upside take for this counter. I'll wait a few moments. If you guys have any doubts or questions, you can just let me know in the live chat. Otherwise, just have it understood or clear. And again, guys, final request in this webinar, do not forget to share the content. It is very, very important. We have got only 150-60 plus views on our last stream, which was conducted on 4th of July 2025. So it falls in your hands to promote the content and let us have more quality audience. With that being said, we are now at the end of this webinar. I currently do not see any questions, so I'll just read further comments. Raghu saying clear. Thank you, Raghu, for the confirmation. Joe is saying no question, all clear. That's good to know. NVIDIA is playing out very well. As per you almost mentioned, it's like, yes, we have a trade. on Nvidia here. Around 147.90-ish level, we were expecting up move, and 158, and then updated count and so on and so forth. So this is our private Slack group. If you want to become a member, you can send the inquiries via our website. Contact us and select the subject matter as requesting details for Slack private group for more quality content, obviously. Thank you, Raghu, for the reminder. And Luis is saying, thanks again. You're very welcome, Luis. Thank you, Adivet. Thank you for the nice words, Marco. Good to know, David, and you're very welcome. All right, guys. So with that being said, we are now done with this whole discussion. And again, just share it and like it, etc., etc. And thank you for staying till the end. Those who did, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and bye for now. Raghu is saying thanks, Neerav, for wonderful analysis. You are very welcome, Raghu, and thank you for this beautiful words. Enjoy your weekend, guys. You too enjoy weekend, Joe. And let's close this session now, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.